Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We are back with DP Talks, second episode of it, and I cannot wait to talk about the couple of things that were released to us with knowledge, like Acolyte being canceled. We have Marvel Rivals updates. We have the new Fortnite season releasing last week, and just be a super great experience for fans of Marvel or comics in general. So what we're gonna first start talking about is the Marvel Rivals update. This update for the game has really got me excited to talk about because I got my hands on it with the closed beta. Luckily, through a lot of streams, and I was upset I didn't get an email back, but I was able to get a drop, so it was okay with me. I got my hands on it. First hand experience, really great. I cannot wait for this game to drop. And surprisingly, this game will be dropping this year at the end of 2024, or at least last month in 2024. It will be releasing December 6th of this year. Also got announcements for two new characters, Captain America and Winter Soldier. They'll be playable characters, and they look amazing. Cap as a tank. Winter Soldier looks like a duelist to me, like similar to Punisher, and I cannot wait to experience them. Another thing is all the characters in the roster will be on launch day. Nothing is locked behind. You can easily play as your favorite character from that roster, and I cannot wait to play it again. I really hope there's an open beta sometime soon because I really did love that game. I spent 16 hours on that game, and it was only for 8 days. It was open for 8 days, so it was really fun to play and experience as a fan of their movies, their shows, comics, even their games. It was really fun. So I cannot wait to get my hands on it on launch day, December 6th of 2024. Now, on to the next part. Fortnite. Not It's been up and down. It's been up and down because obviously if you were playing the new chapter, it started off strong with season 1. It did. I really enjoy that. Season 2, really excited for it. I love the idea of Greek mythology in it because obviously I I grew up reading the Percy Jackson books. I love that book series, and then of course God of War. Love that franchise. So to play more characters from Greek mythology, such as Zeus, I got to play as Hades. All of these characters were really exciting. And then of course Avatar being a Avatar the Last Airbender. I might clarify that just so everyone isn't confused with Avatar the Blue Aliens. And it was really fun. But a lot of people weren't happy with it. A lot of people got bored and tired of it, and I'll be honest, I did too at some points. It wasn't Their updates were pretty slow, or at least it didn't feel the same as other seasons. Then we have season 3, which was hated on. And I personally love that season because I understand what the theme is. It was Wasteland, it's Mad Max stuff. And it was really fun. There was a Fallout collaboration. There was Pirates of the Caribbean collabed, and it was really exciting. People didn't like it though because of course, what the theme was Mad Max. Vehicles everywhere. They had mods where they could shoot from like automatic turrets and grenade launchers. I understand if you're used to just fighting people, but then like getting third party with a vehicle, understandable, but that's part of the game. So if it's part of the season, you just gotta get used to it. But understandable, people were not happy with it, and it was really shocking to me because I honestly really had fun with that season. Me and my friends really did love having fun with that season. I hate repeating myself so much. But anyway, back to the scheme of things. This new season just dropped on Friday, and it was announced at D23 Expo, where Marvel head Kevin Feige released a trailer for the new season. It was supposed to be surrounded by Doctor Doom, of all characters for supervillains, and it was really a great trailer. I got super excited to play as War Machine. I got excited. I got Pilverine. The legends are true. Now we just need Calverine. And it was just really a great trailer for me to just get me excited for another season. And it did not disappoint. The War Machine mythics, the Captain America mythic finally coming back after Chapter 1, Season 8, I believe, or Season 9. It hasn't been out since 2019. So for it to come back years and years later, it was a fun experience. And of course, you have Doctor Doom's mythics being reworked and other weapons being a part of it. You had Mysterio finally come to the game. I was so excited. He's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains, and to see him in the game, I really asked for War Machine and Mysterio. I was delivered. Then, of course, you have Shuri's Black Panther. You had Emma Frost. Surprisingly, there was a Hellfire Gala nod in there, which you won't know it unless you at least heard of the comic, which I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read it yet, but I've been seeing a lot of images for it, so I kind of did get it. So it was pretty interesting, and yeah, it's just the season looks so good right now. It feels great. Of course, they reworked some things. They nerfed War Machine's mythic and Captain America's mythic, but they also buffed up the Sovereign Shotgun. So at least there's some perks to it. But it's fun to play. I cannot wait for the whole rest of the season to see how that plays out. It's just gonna be a blast. And now we're on to, well, for right now, is the final part and piece of this episode at least. I cannot think of anything else to talk about because this is interesting, if not very. I'm very happy about this. The Acolyte has officially been canceled for season 2. And I, among many Star Wars fans, am glad that this happened. You can go to Star Wars Theory about this, or I was gonna say Mike Zero, but yeah, I heard a lot of rumors with that guy, so I'm not gonna say him just yet. But yeah, Star Wars Theory covered this a lot. Go check him out. And I'm just, I couldn't get into I couldn't get into the show. I couldn't. It's just the first 2 episodes were kind of bland. Some of it didn't make sense, like fight me, or only a Jedi draws their lightsaber when they're ready to kill. I'm like, this isn't Star Wars. It's not the whole fighting and all that stuff. It's just, I've never once heard a character say only a Jedi is prepared to kill if they have a weapon in their hand, especially to defend themselves. After a crazy person out of nowhere just starts yelling, fight me, it's like, it doesn't make sense. Not to mention, you kill off your a Matrix actress, no less, the main actress of that film series, immediately, and you save everything else with flashbacks. I just didn't understand it. Then you also have Soul being in between, oh, like he's trying to be this protector and master of Osha, and then all of a sudden, he's like, I deserve death. Did not make sense whatsoever. May's sudden turn to the dark side did not make sense to me. I mean, not May, Osha. And then May flip flopping. Like, all the characters were flip flopping back and forth with all their decisions. And it didn't make sense to me. So, I am very happy that the show was canceled. I really hope that Star Wars is under new development anytime soon with any projects, especially Mandalorian and Grogu. I cannot wait for this movie. I really do hope this is what Star Wars needs to get back on track after Acolyte. Besides Acolyte, you had the sequel trilogy. There hasn't been a Star Wars movie since that trilogy. So I really hope from their movie perspective, they really do get back on track. I hope they go back to their shows, like how they did with Mandalorian season 1 and 2. they did pretty good after that, but it wasn't as good with Boba Fett being like taken out of his own show at some point and becoming like Mandalorian 2.5, season 2.5, even season 3 at best. Then you have Ahsoka. It was pretty good, but at the same time, it didn't. It started rough for me. I felt like it wasn't until after she met Anakin for her training, and then after like showing Sabine and Ezra together, that's when it started getting more interesting to me because I knew Thrawn was gonna be like coming back as a villain, and he did, and it was very exciting. I cannot wait to see him in what I hope is either Mandalorian Grogu or it will be in another Star Wars project or film. That being said, everything else has been pretty good animation wise. Bad Batch just wrapped up this year. It was honestly a great show. I really think that is one of the better parts of Star Wars that came out in recent years. I honestly think you all should check that out if you have not yet. It is such a great show. And it's honestly up there with Clone Wars. I really do think at least somewhere near Clone Wars. Clone Wars is what I think is probably the one of the best parts of Star Wars. It sets up so much, and if you watch the sequel, not sequel, the prequel trilogy, you will not like understand as much. But when you watch Clone Wars and then go into that, it it feels like there's so much that wasn't shown. But in that series, it shows you a different perspective on the character of Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's a really great show. So I think anyone who hasn't seen Clone Wars Bad Batch, go watch it. It's really fun. It's on Disney Plus. It's an original even, so you know it's not gonna go anywhere anytime soon. So please go check it out. And back to the acolyte part. It's just there's so much going on with it, and I feel like I don't want to say like I don't want to sound mean or anything. I just personally think there's something going on with it. You know, it wasn't. Of course, you could say, "Oh, it's diversity," and I don't think it was wrong for them to have a diverse cast. I did not think that whatsoever. I thought it was pretty neat because you're expanding everything. But then there's also, well, some people were even saying about agendas being in place, like how there was the way the twins were made. It was two mothers and the Force, or they call it the Thread because these are witches. So different name for the Force. A lot of witches like use the term magic for the Force. So it does make sense. But at the same time, it's so weird to hear it. But then when you start like hearing it more often, you know. But yeah, it was just so weird. Not for the mother's part. It was the fact that you didn't I didn't expect that. The the twins, they were conceived by the Force. The mothers, these witches did something Plagueis, Palpatine, all, the Jedi, like all these big Force users tried to do this, or at least thought of doing this, and they couldn't do it. But then witches come out of nowhere and make not one, but two children made by the Force. It did not. It made me feel like, and a lot of people felt this way too. It made me feel like Anakin was not the chosen one if he was not the only one conceived by the Force, because that's a big part of it. Another thing was not Plo Koon. Yeah, Adamundi. He was alive during this time. Not only that, he kept secrets away from the Jedi Council, and it didn't make sense. Not just for the character not making sense. It's the fact he's not even supposed to be alive. This was already confirmed in Legends, which isn't canon, but at the same time, this has been like in writing since before even COVID. Like I'm not gonna say the pandemic, but you get my point. It's been around for a very long time. People were just used to it by now. And to hear someone say, "Oh no, you guys were wrong. No, no, no. This is how it actually happened." And it just feels so weird. And the writers, I know I remember seeing the director confirm that she hired some writers because she wanted a new perspective on this universe. And I gotta say, I did not like that at all because once you hear that, it's kind of similar to what you saw with the Eternals movie, what you saw with Secret Invasion. You're seeing projects made by people who do not understand the whole universe. Maybe it's in a book, maybe it's from a show, movie, whatever. They didn't do research. So to see it happen and you have a good understanding of it, but then it's all different out of nowhere, it feels weird. So for that to happen, it really did shock me, and I don't know what to say with that. And then, like I said before, the characters they're flip flopping. People can say the reason is because of agendas, but besides that, it was mainly just writing. The plot was not that good. And then, of course, the characters were some of them were good, but at the same time, they also had their own issues and flaws. Like I started liking Soul from the beginning, like since the beginning of the show. Near the end, his character changed and it ruined him for me, at least. And of course, you have Osha and May being played by the same actress, which is honestly hard to do. It is hard for one actor or actress to play two different characters, and especially if they're twins, it is hard. But there's some experienced actors and actresses who've done this before. I'll say this: Oscar Isaac in Moon Knight. He plays a character who has multiple personalities. He played as Mark. He played as Steven. He plays as Jake at the end of his season. These are all one person, but with multiple personalities. And he played off so well. So it honestly takes a lot of skill. But even if that was the case, if you didn't think he did that good, he at least tried to make sure you knew there was a difference between the character. Osha and May, they felt like the same character to me because when I saw May acting like she's a dark side person, she wants revenge against the Jedi. You have Osha who's like just staying away from the Jedi. Then all of a sudden they switch places, literally and figuratively, because May is now like forgiving. She's trying to like just forgive after what happened, and now she's like thinking she's trying to reconsider everything she's done. Then you have Osha going to Kimir and becoming a dark side user, and it didn't make sense to me because she's now like thinking Soul deserves what's coming to him because he killed my mother and all of my family members in the witch coven. And when you watch the scene, Soul, Soul, despite being told he wasn't like in danger by the mother who was turning into a gust of wind, like she was turning into something, and Soul was right in front of her. You kind of be defensive about that. I would assume if she's gonna do that, she's most likely getting ready to attack me. So I'm gonna pull out my lightsaber and defend myself. And then you tell me at the end you're gonna let Osha go with me to the council and become a Jedi. Why didn't you just say that? And also, why do you have all the witches controlling my Jedi friends? It doesn't make sense. And then also you have a part of the episode where Soul is trying to use the Force to catch both Osha and May. He could have easily done that, but instead they make him choose which character to do it. And of course, without doing that, there's no character, like there's no plot. Because of course it's May going after the Jedi Council for revenge. So obviously plot reason why that happens. But yeah, it doesn't make sense. And especially Soul feeling upset about it and like wanting to get what he deserved despite he didn't deserve it. That's the only issue. He didn't deserve it, and yet he's been told by everyone he deserves this. He's also used as a scapegoat at the end of this season or series now, as it was officially canceled. So it's so weird. Then you also have characters like Yoda and Plagueis show up at the very end of the series. And knowing these characters, Yoda would have sensed these ongoing murders. He would have known there was a Sith involved. And the fact that he wasn't even notified about it until the very end, it did not make sense. Yoda is too powerful of a Jedi to not notice that. So it does not make sense for his character. Then you have Plagueis in the background watching it all happen. I felt like, okay, they're basically saying Plagueis got the idea from seeing how this ended. That's basically what he's doing. Now he's gonna be like, oh, hey, Palpatine, hey, I had this idea. We can conceive the chosen one in with the Force. So, with that being said, it's all over the place. You can even count this video as the Acolyte review because, let's face it, I don't want to rewatch that series. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. The only time I'm going to talk about it is if someone brings it up. And if no one brings it up, I'm not going to mention it. And if I do, I lied to myself then, or I lied to you guys. It's whatever. Stuff is said, but I really hope Star Wars, like Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, figure everything out. Please give these projects, like big projects like Mando and Grogu, to people who love this franchise, like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Give it to Star Wars fans because same with Marvel. We want people like Ryan Reynolds. We want people like Steve. What? We want people like Levy, Hugh Jackman. We want these kind of people to give us what we want as fans because at the end of the day, it's what the fans love and want to see constantly. Because if you don't have the fans backing you up, you don't have a good franchise or movie going on for you. It doesn't matter because if you don't have the fans, it doesn't work. There's not even money that you'll get from it. You'll only receive bad reviews, and I really hope Star Wars fixes everything. And with that being said, Acolyte officially gone. We have Marvel Rivals coming out very soon. We have the new Fortnite season with Marvel's collaboration in game right now. Go check this out. Go watch Star Wars Theory for more Acolyte and other Star Wars talk. Go see Marvel Rivals trailer. Go check out Gamescom that's going on this week. And of course, please leave a like, subscribe, and come back next time. We cannot wait to talk more. We'll see you soon.